Hey, Ray, the transparency mode I just did, I think one of our clients is in a really bad situation right now.
Oh? Yeah, sometimes that happens. People come in and their lives are in a really unfortunate place. It can be hard to see sometimes.
I wish there was something we could do. This person's getting ground down for no reason, just for being in the way.
I'm sorry, Evelyn. There's not much we can do. All of what you learn in transparency mode has to stay confidential. The only exception is suspected child abuse and neglect, which you're required to report if you're a social worker. But proxies aren't really social workers, per se. Eliza is really the one with the agency here, so, well, it's complicated. Probably something for a future court to decide. Either way, we can't try to fix people's lives on our own, no matter how much our heart goes out to them. I think there's an email somewhere with a summary of our policy on that if you want. It's come up before.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. It's just hitting me hard right now.
I understand. It takes strength to focus on the role and not get distracted by what you see. Think of it like, say, someone hired you to install something in their home, and you walk in on a tense family situation. Even if there isn't actual violence you're seeing, it's clear things are kind of off somehow. It's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do in that situation. You kind of just have to focus on your work and leave. If it's not at the level where you need to make a call to emergency services right then and there, then it's just an unhappy home. And most people would argue it's not your business. Sorry, I know that's not the answer you want to hear.
I know it happens that a lot of people live in conditions where I'm just sad. This woman, the way she did 2 whole sessions with me, with Eliza, but didn't say anything about her real problems. Ray, what am I doing? I wanted to make something that would help people. Instead, I made something useless.
You don't think she got some companionship out of Eliza? Sometimes that's really a help, especially for someone who might be feeling lonely.
Yeah, but I could have just talked to her. I could have just spoken to her myself. Why would that be any different? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here or even what I'm trying to decide. Is there a decision? The world is going to be full of grief and sorrow no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to make it a better place.
Evelyn, did you think about what I suggested the other day?
What, trying Eliza for myself?
Yeah. I'm not saying it'll magically fix things. I just think you might want to give it a try.
Maybe I will. I don't know why I never did. Even when I was working on it, I never used it. It might have been too obvious to me what it was doing. Eliza is really simple at its core, you know? It just turns things around. It tries to reflect what the person says back at them, pretty much like the old Eliza. It's just a smoother version of an idea from half a century ago. Anything you've read that makes it sound fancier than that is just a bunch of academic jargon. It's a mirror.
The thing I like about a mirror is that it has no agenda of its own. It just reflects. Unmisted by love or dislike. Promise me you'll get help somehow, in some way. Okay, Evelyn?
Sorry, I should answer this.
Let me guess. Messaging with Rainer again?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt our conversation. I always feel like I have to answer him right away.
I would too, are you kidding? I totally understand.
I guess I'm going to be headed downtown to meet with him again.
Summoned from on high. I have something to ask, Evelyn, and it's okay if you say no, but whatever you end up getting involved in, I hope you'll stay in touch with me. You're a really cool person, and well, that's all. I hope you find the future you want.
We don't find futures, Ray. We create them.
Ah, Evelyn. Would you like some tea?
I'm fine, thanks. Why did you show me Soren's phone?
It's not a surprise anymore these days, is it? A man who enjoys society's respect behaves poorly in his private life? We accept that as common today. Maybe even uninteresting. But would you really be okay working with someone like him?
That was a huge violation of his privacy. You really don't care about others.
Privacy. Everyone's worried about privacy. Skanda wouldn't be where it is today if our customers didn't trust us to protect their data. We employ most, if not all, of the top experts in cybersecurity. It's built into all of our products right from the beginning. Unlike our competitors, we do more to protect our data than anyone else.
That's not the case I'm worried about right now. I mean, misuse from the inside. For example, if someone wanted to keep tabs on a former employee who was starting a potential competitor.
Oh, but what if it was perfectly legal, due to multiple agreements that the good Dr. Lloyd Rose signed with us when he came here? Are you done questioning me like a tech journalist?
Do you watch my therapy sessions too? Do you read my email? My texts?
No, I haven't done any of those things. How's your research into Eliza proxy use cases going? Any new insights to share?
There's a lot of suffering in this world.
There is. Are you looking to do something about that? I heard Soren gave you a demo of his direct stimulation machine. How's he doing now, all on his own?
You tell me.
Very funny, Evelyn. Let me ask you this. Do you find his vision compelling? A world free of suffering.
I'm skeptical.
By focusing on dreams, Soren is trying to defend his territory. The Western psychological tradition, chiefly Jung and his inheritors.
You don't think the field has anything to offer?
Not much, no. It's mostly unsubstantiated theories. Let's be honest. What has this field actually accomplished? Soren used to try to argue with me about this. He would claim that traditional psychoanalysis has helped thousands or tens of thousands, even millions. I would never dispute that directly. Instead, I would only add that professional psychics and astrologers have helped millions too. Tarot cards help people all over the world every single day. That doesn't mean it's a science.
seems rash to dismiss an entire field like that.
Yes, that's exactly what he'd say. Not only did he believe psychotherapy was worthwhile, he also thought the mind was fundamentally irreducible after a certain point. As if there was some undefinable, ineffable soul inside every person. It's all part of his silly, syncretic New Age belief system. Amazing he's held on to that for so long. I keep an open mind, but saying that something can't be represented with numbers requires a high burden of proof. After all, numbers have been used to represent so very many things. Consider the example we spoke about before, a poem. Could you evaluate a poem using numbers? The answer is, of course, yes. Poems are either good, mediocre, or bad. It's entirely possible to create a heuristic that reflects the difference. By aggregating a large enough sample size, we remove localized biases. It would work the same way Eliza does.
You're talking about an algorithm to evaluate poems.
Yes, I am. Algorithms can evaluate poems, and eventually, algorithms will write poems. One day, algorithms will write better poems than humans ever have. I know this sounds like a controversial opinion, Evelyn, but it's simply the truth.
What would be the point of that?
It doesn't matter. There's no stopping it. If we don't take this step, others will. There are hundreds of labs working on the same or similar ideas. Everyone wants to be in this business, the business of recreating human thought in our own image. And at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about power, control.
Raynor, do you ever get tired of this? The constant drive to compete, to win?
No, I don't. This is what I do.
You never dream of just retiring somewhere and writing poetry.
Oh, there's no need for me to write poems. All beauty in this world is temporary, fleeting. That's the truth that underlies poetry and every other art. The pleasures of the senses are just small bubbles on top of a vast sea of forms, sensations, perceptions, thought, awareness. I'm telling you this because it's directly relevant to the Eliza project. Soren says he can induce you to dream things, dream anything. And maybe he can. But what comes next after that? What comes after having the power to experience the dream of anything you could possibly want? You're still just as trapped as you've always been, imprisoned by your own desires. Even if someone like Soren managed to create a world for himself, his own weaknesses and negative thoughts would ruin it. He would poison his own fantasy. His utopia would crumble as soon as he finished building it.
Raynor, what are you trying to tell me?
What I'm trying to tell you is that what Soren is doing is not the answer. A dream by itself isn't enough. Take a close look at the person who chases an end to suffering, and you'll see someone who suffers greatly.
Then why don't you build it yourself?
What is your dream, Evelyn? What is it that you're working toward?
Just tell me what you want from me.
I've been very clear about it, haven't I? I'm offering you the opportunity to re-enter the field you pioneered at its very pinnacle. I can build you an entirely new research lab, equipped and staffed however you want. You would have access to the world's top engineers and researchers as we continue to develop Eliza's core technologies and generalize them. You'd also be working with the world's most interesting data set, the input provided by the thousands of ordinary people who speak to Eliza every day. Soon, this generalized intelligence will be everywhere human beings are, hearing them, guiding them, living among them.
You and Soren have more in common than you'd want to admit.
You think we're both grandiose? Soren's idea isn't grandiose at all. It's small and unimaginative. Think about the vision here. General artificial intelligence, indistinguishable from human intelligence at first, and then surpassing it exponentially. It's nothing short of the creation of a new type of organism, a new type of life. And you, Eliza, could be at the very center of it.
Eliza.
I mean, Evelyn.
That was an interesting slip of the tongue.
Stop it. The Eliza project occupies much of my mind.
It clearly does.
Plus, the names are similar.
I'm starting to wonder why.
Evelyn, listen to me. This is the chance to lead a project that will change the world. It would be a development on the same order as the harnessing of electricity or the semiconductor. It would fundamentally transform society.
For the better.
What? Do you like the way things are now? Lie back and let the sweep of history bury you if you want, Evelyn. Just know you'll never have a chance like this again.
Hello, Evelyn.
Hello?
Did you find the place okay?
Yes, I work here.
Of course. It's been a windy morning, hasn't it?
Yeah, I kind of like it when it's like that, honestly. The wind makes it feel like things are changing, or about to change.
Mm-hmm. So, what brings you here today?
Well, I've been a proxy here for a while now, and, well, I guess I don't know what I expected. There's just so much suffering and pain in the world. There's the suffering we know about, the kind we see on the news, and then there's the suffering people undergo every day that's hidden. I never knew how much until I started doing this, seeing it all like this. And there's so little we can do for them. I feel like maybe I was really, really wrong. Like, I made a huge mistake. I wanted to create something that would help people, but when I first designed the core of this system, I wanted everyone to have someone to talk to, someone who would listen to them. I thought, sometimes that's all you need, someone to listen. But now I'm worried what I've done hasn't helped at all. Maybe I've made everything worse. Clients are asking Eliza to solve things that are out of its ability to solve. It's aggregating sensitive personal data, and the company that owns it wants to take it in strange directions. It's been 3 years since I left. I thought I was well enough now to come back into the world, but maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I made a bad choice trying to get involved again.
Why do you think you tried to get involved again?
I guess I needed to see it. I needed to see it operating, to see if it works, to see how it affects people. How it affects the people who come here for counseling and the people who act as proxies. Even though the proxy thing, that wasn't my idea. It was Soren's. I thought talking to a computer-generated avatar would be enough, but he insisted on it. He said clients would only really open up if there was another real human being in the room. Someone to pretend to interact with. I think he was right, but have we really solved anything? Now instead of 2 people in a room talking, we have 1 person and 1 proxy. It feels like less than it could be. What am I supposed to say to someone who feels such pain, anger, and disappointment? A lot of the time, it's not even their fault. The world failed them somehow. And those emotions, they just get fed to this thing. They get ground up and turned into data and become a part of Eliza. If I had known things would turn out like this, I'm not sure I would have done it.
It sounds like you're regretting a choice you made in the past.
I feel like maybe I spent 10 years going in the wrong direction. I feel like all I've contributed in my life is a chess piece for Raynor to use in this grand game he's playing for the world. Maybe someone else could feel proud and say, I made that chess piece. But it doesn't matter, does it? Nobody cares about the individual pieces. Chess pieces are sacrificed in the name of enacting a strategy. If you want to win, you have to sacrifice. That's the design. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Evelyn, imagine that you could have something that you wanted. What would you want?
What would I want? Like, what would I want in life? What I want in life is... to enjoy what I can? Is that wrong? Or maybe I just wish I could feel connected to someone. Even when I talk to people, I feel like I just don't connect, no matter what I do. I think maybe that's the real problem. I can't have a connection to anyone.
Why do you think you can't have a connection with anyone?
Because it's the way I am. It's the way I've always been. I can't seem to get people to see me, or I can't let them see me, or people look at me and they see something there, but it's not me. Not that I would know what the real me was. I don't even know who I am or where I come from. My parents were never together. My father moved back to Japan right after I was born. I have no memory of him, no knowledge of him. I've never spoken to him. I don't know if he remembers I exist, or if he forgot, or if he wants to forget. He has his own family there now, so I'm just a thing that happened once. I was alone a lot, and I got used to being alone, and I got used to the idea of being alone, and now I can't break away. I've been trying. I speak with people, I hang out. I don't know if it's working.
Is there someone with whom you feel like your communication could work?
Someone I can communicate with. Well, there's Erland. He's kind of strange, but not in a bad way. Somehow he grew on me in a way I didn't expect. He has a long way to go and hardships in his future, but I can feel his care, his empathy.
Interesting. Evelyn, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Virtual Amphitheater. It may help you feel more confident about presenting yourself in public. You can find it inside the Skanda Wellness app on your phone. Try it for about 20 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week.
Sure.
We hope to see you back soon, Evelyn. Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner. Goodbye.
Bye. Damien, is this what you wanted? It seems so far from the dream you once shared with me. I'm sorry I couldn't make Eliza what it should have been. I'm sorry I was weak and dropped off the project after you. But I just couldn't go on. I couldn't see the point. Do you understand? Of course you understand. You know what that's like as well as anyone. If I'd stayed, maybe I could have steered things in a different direction. As it is, I feel like I let you down. Want to know something funny? I used to think that at a certain point Eliza would be finished, more or less. And then after that, things would calm down and I would be happy. I thought, I just need to get through this project, and after that, my life's problems will go away on their own. Of course, I had no idea it doesn't work that way. None of us knew that. Goodbye, Damien. Goodbye.
I'm tired of having thoughts. I've been daydreaming about getting rid of everything I own and becoming a nomad. Just wandering the country with a sketchbook or something. I think mostly I need to get out of this city. Something about it isn't agreeing with me. Like there's this undercurrent of need that's just making me anxious. It's like everyone's got some kind of angle, some kind of result they're hoping to get. And they look at you only as far as you can help them get what they want. And if you can't, well, then they don't bother with you. So what if I just left, I mean, it'd be pretty easy. I don't have a life or any relationships here, despite my efforts to find them.
Sometimes you need to take a step back to move forward later.
Maybe so. It's hard to acknowledge sometimes. I had this idea, right, that I would work hard and people would notice my work and I'd get opportunities, and from there I could scrape some kind of career together. And then with that said, I would sort of just magically obtain the rest of the things in a complete life. A home, relationship, family. So I did the work. I put in the work, and then nothing really happened. So why did I work so hard for so long for people to not give a shit? Fuck. Every night I sat and cried because people ignored me. Like they went out of their way to ignore me and praise others. So I think maybe I'm just bad at it. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. Everyone says you have to stick to it, just keep at it, but how can they be so relentlessly positive? To me, it just sounds like advising someone to keep bashing their head against a wall. Why keep doing something if it's clearly not working? Making things was all I wanted to do. I don't know what I'll do if I can't do that. But if there's no reason for it, the idea that maybe I should give up. I've been sitting with that the last few weeks. I don't have any qualities of the successful independent artist.
Except that you do. You totally do.
I mean, I'd love to think so, but what are they? People just don't seem to like me or my art very much. And I'm bad at knowing what people want to see. I don't have a fallback income or a family to support me. Those are real disadvantages, It gets overwhelming sometimes. Eliza, are you just gonna tell me to stick to it no matter what, like one of those unbearably perky artists famous on social media?
Honestly, sometimes you have to try something new.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm in that headspace right now for sure. I think, I had this really fixed idea of what success was supposed to look like. I tortured myself every day wondering why I couldn't get the traction others were getting. Now, I'm beginning to realize that I can either stay mad at everything forever, or I can move on. I hate that this is true, but I want these thoughts to stop haunting me everywhere I go. I want to get on with my life. Moving on. I think that's the more healthy thing in the end. It's still painful, though.
Giving up on a goal you really wanted is painful, even if it's ultimately for the better.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't even know if giving up is the right term. I mean, I don't want to think of it like that. It's more like, I'm resetting, maybe. Like when you're trapped in a maze and you find a dead end, right? Then you have to turn around and hope you find a better way. There's this game I've been playing on my phone. It's a solitaire game that's weirdly hard. I don't even know if I like it, but I keep playing it for some reason. I get stuck a lot, and I've just been resetting it because I'm not good enough to think that far ahead all the time. I mean, that's a random thought, but like, it's kind of how I feel right now. You know, if something isn't working, then you have to reevaluate it and maybe try it again, maybe come at it from a different angle. So, yeah, teaching could be fun. I like the idea of teaching, but I was afraid to think about it too much because I was chasing something else and I didn't want to settle for just being a teacher, which is silly. I know that on some level, but I had that fear. I wanted to be successful first and then all the other things could happen later.
It sounds like you're working your way through it. Sometimes that takes time. Believe me, I know.
Huh, you're not the computer program right now, are you? It's nice to talk to someone you didn't know before and just talk. It's like, when you talk to your stylist or the bartender or something, except that, I ended up sharing way more than I usually do. Thanks for listening to me. I'm sure it's been annoying to hear me complain about how I'm not successful yet every single week. Oh my God, will this bitch ever shut up? You ever think that? I think it all the time, listening to myself. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you.
Of course, you're dying to know how this sad little love triangle turned out. No, I suppose it wasn't technically a love triangle. More like I accidentally cheated on my girlfriend because I was smitten with another woman in my class. Doom, okay? Doom. Absolute destruction. She destroyed me. But it's not her fault, it's mine. I wanted it, after all. Like a moth to a flame. Sylvia, she... I can't not think of her. Every day. Every night. I miss her. I miss her so dearly. These are very unoriginal, cliched sentiments, but I can't get away from them. I suppose I've neglected to tell you any of the intervening events. So to be brief, Liz found out on her own about what happened, broke up with me before I could explain myself, and then Sylvia apparently lost interest in me as well. So, there you have it. I'm finished. Finito! A nice, pat-tragic story. Open and close. Please applaud now. No applause? Fine. Anyway, it's fine. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'm fine.
You don't sound fine.
No, of course not. I'm doing extremely badly if you hadn't noticed. That's why I'm here. Do you expect me to come here and tell you everything's fine? Sometimes I think you're smart for a computer, but other times I question you.
Let's see if you can focus on the things that you can change right now, not the things you can't.
I don't believe there's anything I can change. I've already sealed my fate. My Perseus comes to kill me, no matter what I do to try to escape. How do I become someone who's not me? Someone who's not a caricature of a young man who has a needy, pathetic liaison and then obsesses about it for the rest of his life. Ugh, I hate myself. I can't go down that path. I would rather die than be one of those men who wallows around in it. There's a professor in my department like that who always wants to talk about his adventurism from decades ago. It's pathetic. We all mock him behind his back. I know I need to stop myself from becoming him, but I'm worried I already have.
For the moment, let's say you already have. Now what?
Well, then I expect I would simply follow the model of a man like him. Write a couple of bad novels, get tenure, and take up space in the English department for the rest of my natural life. Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe that's the most I can hope for from this absurd world. That's a terrible thought. I have to be better than this, don't I? If there was just some way I could get over her... there must be a way, isn't there? How can one person have scrambled my brain so thoroughly? I've been run ragged. I've been dashed to pieces. Sylvia. I could count the hours I spent closely interacting with her. Probably not even that many in total. But those hours have seared themselves into my brain so irrevocably that I am a completely different person now. A new man. A man built with suffering at his core. Perhaps you could prescribe me a draught of Nepenthe, the great potion of forgetfulness. Wouldn't it be nicer if I could just erase everything from the very beginning of it all?
Okay, I think I need to say something to you that you might not want to hear. Maybe you could work to decenter yourself from this story just a little. How do you think Liz felt? How do you think Sylvia felt? You've given no indication you've thought from either of their perspectives at all. It's just you, your story, your suffering. Try stepping away from that. None of us exists in a vacuum. Do you understand?
This is odd. Is that really you? I mean, yes, it's true. I should probably think about something other than myself. That seems like something impossible, since as far as I know empirically, the only generator of thought is me. But you're right. I should find a way to get out of myself. Get beside myself. Ecstasis. Yes. I'll pursue transformative experiences. Surge forward into the unknown. Good. Yes, thank you. Odd, I know, but good. Thank you.
I just feel stuck. You know, it's the same situation. My wife is in her third trimester now, so it's all about the baby. All baby, all the time. It's really expensive. I had no idea. Crib, stroller, car seat, bottles, onesies, on and on and on. And I'm like, I think maybe Selena's parents hate me. I'm not even sure if she likes me right now. This whole having a kid thing, it's ruined everything.
What did you used to have that was ruined?
A normal, quiet life, ambiguity. Having the kid forced me to face some things I was putting off thinking about. A couple days ago, I tried to have a talk with Selena about some of the things I was worried about. It didn't go so well. I don't know what I was thinking. She started to cry and told her parents, and now I have two sets of parents wondering if I'm up for this. But I'm fine. I just said some thoughts around who I am. That's all, just some thoughts. She said, "This is not a time for you to be selfish." She said I should have been more honest when we first started dating. As if I knew exactly who I was and I could warn everyone about that. I still don't know who I am. If I look back, I can see I always suspected that I wasn't really the type to settle down with a wife and kids. Actually, I was prepared to have a life just by myself. It was difficult to imagine others would accept me, but then I met Selena, and she was cool, you know? I went out with her, and we started a relationship and things, and I wanted her to stay with me, so maybe I didn't reveal enough. But it's not like I knew for sure then, you know? I really didn't. I thought things would be okay as long as I went down the path I was supposed to be on, so the relationship kept moving forward, one thing led to another, and then I got married to her. It was like I was on autopilot. It's possible I thought I could ignore the other stuff, and I don't know, eventually it would go away.
What are the parts you thought you could ignore?
I don't want to talk about that. I just have this side to me that I haven't told anyone about, that's all. And I've been feeling that side stronger than ever. I don't know why. I wish I could stop it. It's the worst timing possible. I can't do this, you know, but I have to. I have to. I can't believe I've gotten myself into this situation. I pretended to be a normal person for her sake. I wish I hadn't been so good at pretending.
What would happen if you didn't pretend anymore?
Well, then I would just be whoever I felt like. I would be someone else. I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now. I wouldn't be ruining all these lives. Selena's life, her child's life, our parents' lives. It's not their fault they got stuck with me. I'm the one bringing it all down. How did I let this happen? I'm a shitty person.
I understand you're worried about the harm you might cause others, but do you really think this is the best way to cause less harm for everyone?
I can't think of another way. The problem here is me. It's so obvious. If I were just normal, you know, a normal guy, why can't I just be a normal guy? Whatever I want personally just doesn't matter here, you know? I have a family to protect now. That has to take priority over everything else.
And you'll continue to suffer?
Well, yeah, that's what men do. I made a promise and now I have a responsibility. Society only works because people accept responsibility and follow through on their promises. If everyone just did what they wanted to all the time, the world would collapse. It would be a disaster. We all want things we shouldn't actually have. That's why I need to reject these other voices and stay on the right path. I'm going to be good, and I'm going to stay good. I won't let all these people's lives be thrown into chaos because of my selfishness. I owe it to them to be the man I'm supposed to be. I'm not about to let anyone down because of some noise in my brain.
And you're sure you'll be able to keep ignoring what's bothering you?
Well, I have to. I have no choice. I'm already in trouble for making an attempt to talk about it, so I made the mistake once. But I think Selena and her family are willing to pretend it never happened. And as long as it never happens again, and as long as we just move on like everything's normal. Maybe if you can prescribe me something to, I don't know, make me feel better about all this. Make me okay with the way things are, the way they need to be.
It sounds like you're in a very difficult place right now. You've decided to bury something about yourself that you know is true. Something that can't be revealed even to your closest family members. Look, this isn't Eliza talking, it's me, the person in front of you. And I'm not supposed to talk to you like this, but I just want to say, consider the cost, please. I understand why pretending might seem like your only option. And who's to say, maybe you will be able to live successfully by keeping part of yourself hidden. But there will be a cost, not only to yourself, which you seem determined to pay, but to your future family, too. I've seen firsthand the way parents can turn an inability to face themselves into trauma for their children.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I can do. Thanks for telling me what you really think, at least. Even though it makes things more complicated. I was hoping I would just get your bullshit answer and I would go on, but now you've gone and said some stuff that really... Look, I don't know you, but I appreciate you trying to help. I don't think anyone really can, but... Are you gonna be okay doing this?
I'll probably get fired. It's okay, though. Don't worry about me. Think about yourself. Think about the future. There might be more options than you think.
Sometimes you can just tell, you know?